Mason Pettis, once a highly skilled U.S. Army Special Forces operator, was injured and medically discharged after a botched mission to assassinate Juan Venegas, the ruthless dictator of the South American nation of Paldonia. The mission, intended to destabilize Venegas's oppressive regime, ended in disaster when Mason's team was ambushed, resulting in the deaths of several close friends. The failure haunts him to this day, a constant reminder of what went wrong. Years later, Mason finds himself trapped in a mundane and unfulfilling existence, working security at a prestigious law firm in Washington, D.C. He goes through the motions, but the fire that once defined him has long been extinguished. His wife, Jenny, is supportive but worried about his growing restlessness. Their daughter, Casey, is the only true light in Mason's life, but even she can sense his discontent. One evening, Mason receives an unexpected visit from an old teammate, Sebastian Earle, who now works for a private military contractor. Sebastian offers Mason a lucrative opportunity, one that could pull him out of his dreary routine and reignite his purpose. His assignment: protect disgraced journalist Claire Wellington as she travels to Paldonia at Venegas's personal invitation. Tensions in the country are at an all-time high, with an armed uprising threatening to overthrow Venegas's rule. Mason is skeptical but ultimately agrees, despite Jenny's concerns that he may not return home alive. Upon arriving in Paldonia, Mason, Claire, and Venegas's convoy is ambushed by heavily armed militants, their vehicles reduced to flaming wrecks. With his combat instincts kicking in, Mason takes charge, skillfully fending off the attackers. He and Claire manage to escape into the dense jungle, dragging Venegas along with them. As they evade pursuers, it becomes clear that the attack was not a random act of violence but an orchestrated betrayal from within Venegas's own forces. His nephew, Jorge, and his military advisor, Colonel Jan Cohorst, have orchestrated a coup to seize power. Mason, having no interest in Venegas's survival, initially attempts to leave the dictator behind. However, before he can do so, a team of mercenaries ambushes him and Claire. Forced into a reluctant alliance, Mason and Venegas fight side by side, eventually finding shelter in a remote village. To Mason's surprise, the villagers revere Venegas, viewing him as a protector rather than a tyrant. Claire, ever the journalist, seizes the opportunity to record an interview with Venegas, attempting to uncover the truth behind his rule. During their time together, Claire and Mason develop a mutual respect, though Mason keeps his distance, always mindful of his wife and daughter back home. As Mason grapples with the complexities of the mission, he learns from Sebastian that his true objective isn't protection, it's assassination. The revelation shakes him to his core. He is a soldier, not a hitman, and the idea of executing someone in cold blood, even a dictator, does not sit well with him. Before he can make a decision, Jan's forces attack the village, capturing Claire in the process. Mason and Venegas barely escape, but they now face an impossible choice: abandon Claire to her fate or risk everything to rescue her. Determined to save Claire, Mason and Venegas make their way toward the capital. Along the journey, Venegas shares his side of the story, insisting that he did not orchestrate the massacre that killed Mason's team years ago. Though Mason remains wary, he cannot ignore the mounting evidence suggesting that Jan has been manipulating events from the shadows. The so-called revolution is not an uprising of the people, but a coup driven by personal ambition and greed. As they arrive at the capital, Mason and Venegas devise a daring plan to retrieve Claire. They arrange a hostage exchange, but instead of handing over Venegas, they expose Jan's deception. Claire, ever the journalist, films the encounter, capturing irrefutable proof that the rebellion was fabricated. Just as it seems the truth might prevail, General Martinez, another key conspirator, betrays Jorge and shoots him dead, further escalating the chaos. The palace is soon under siege as Jan's forces move in for the final strike. A brutal firefight ensues, with Mason facing off against Jan in a climactic one-on-one battle. During their fight, Jan boasts about his orchestration of the original massacre, confirming Mason's suspicions. With Claire recording every moment, Mason ultimately overpowers and kills Jan, ensuring that justice is served. Sebastian and his team arrive just in time to neutralize the remaining hostiles, securing the palace. With Jan and his co-conspirators eliminated, Venegas makes a surprising decision. Rather than cling to power, he announces his resignation, paving the way for free and fair democratic elections. Claire's footage of the ordeal revitalizes her career, giving the world an unfiltered look at the truth behind Paldonia's turmoil. With his mission complete, Mason returns home to his family. In a final act of gratitude, Venegas sends Mason $5 million more than enough to leave his detested law firm job and secure a better future for his family. Though his hands remain stained from the battles he has fought, Mason finally finds a measure of peace, knowing that this time, he fought for something truly worth believing in. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe.